When playing as Count Noctilus, the first order of business is always to invade Ulthuan and fight Tyrion, at least when I play his campaigns, which makes this matchup particularly loreful, although it is under the banner of Nagaryth. Also, very unusual builds. We've got some rush elements, in fact, primary all rush from Vampire Coast here, Syrenes to the front line, Bloody Reavers, and Lamprey's Revenge second line, with Noctilus leading the way, as mentioned. Some Scurvy Dogs over there, and then a bunch of Vanguard Morghouls over on the coast's left flank. For the High Elves, we've got Silver Helms, also Fireborn. Very interesting choice. You don't typically see Elite Cavalry against Coast, because they have some pretty good anti-cavalry tools, but let's see. We've also got a Lion Chariot there, Healer to keep them all topped up, Talons of Torquelada, plus a couple of Lothern Seaguard, Spearmen, and some White Lions in the front line also. Very interesting choices all the way around. So, lack of magic damage could potentially be problematic against the Syrenes, although certainly they can take a lot of damage from just high volume, and this fire weakness actually is a good way to get them down, because it does basically -20 from that physical resistance, making them only, 35% resistant to those bow attacks, and given their lack of armored missile block, it's definitely problematic. Nice chariot charge as well means this center unit at least is going to take some significant damage, but see the summons in the back line, the zombie deckhands getting on those Talons of Torquelada on the far side. Fireborn are pressured away by Syrenes combined with the Lamprey's Revenge. On this side, these Syrenes took a nasty charge there. Morghouls a little bit late to join the party in order to prevent that damage, but are making their way up and around here. Silverhelm is also going to get a nice little counter charge. Morghul's lack of armor means they will take substantial damage on this counter charge. Tyrion also charging in, getting a nice strike with Sunfang. Morghul's again sweeping wide around, but hopefully can get into combat, start to do some damage. I don't know. The fact that these Vampire Coast kind of squishy specialist units went in here unsupported means they are going to take a lot of damage. Over on this other side, where things are a little bit better supported, obviously things are going much better. But yeah, Fireborn being continually pressured away. Bloody Reaver Depth Guard also following a little bit slow behind, but eventually they'll be able to catch up here. Once the second unit of Morghouls also closes, this fight stabilizes somewhat. These Morghouls, once the Silverhelms lose their charge bonus, can sustain themselves through the hunger in this fight, at least for some time, so they'll be able to, maybe, I don't know, Tyrion actually getting in there, delivering a few huge hits, starting to crumble them out. Might actually lose out on leadership and go down before they can receive aid. Same with these Morghouls here, so a significant amount of value being lost up front for Vampire Coast. They certainly have plenty of sustainability here, plenty of capacity still to heal through some of these engagements, but the loss of pretty much all the Syrenes definitely hurts pretty early on as the Lions are able to prevail there. Spearmen even in the front line doing okay given the support they've received. I guess one more unit of Syrenes technically still alive. Now is being multi-charged by Elves from all sides. Even the Life Mage getting in here, using her high weapon strength to try and just kill individual unit models. Very nicely done. A lot of people will just leave their casters out of combat. Might as well throw them in against relatively low threat units, just to contribute a little bit of extra DPS. The Bloody Reavers still have not gotten involved, and that could change this fight substantially. The fact they have the hunger, and I mean, the Archers have pretty much been dealt with, right, for the High Elves. If we take a look here, the mobility sort of from a target priority perspective, mobility of the Vampire Coast was able to pretty much deal with the Archers. I guess technically you still have a few of these Talons of Torquelada hanging around, maybe a few Lothern Seaguard over here as well. But let's see if they can actually finish off the rest. Nice terror route on that Mage as well, means that could potentially chase her off, but looks like Bloody Reavers rather staying focused on the Silverhelms and avoiding that Dwellers Below cast by the Life Mage before she tear routed. She's going to come back relatively easily, though. It's unfortunate, but see, those hounds are going to try and rush her down, catch her up. Morghouls supporting the Bloody Reavers definitely helps, especially like with the Lamprey's Revenge as well, just giving them some extra mass so that if they do get countercharged by the Fireborn and the Chariots here, it's not going to hurt quite so much, but definitely interesting. I thought initially that the Vampire Coast was a little bit hosed here, so to speak, but they've actually been able to come back to a reasonable degree, continuing to pressure this Life Mage. Those chevrons on the Scurvy Dogs at this point are paying dividends and keeping their leadership intact, also aiding their attack, and yeah, they're doing a good job. A little bit of cast there. I didn't catch exactly what it was. Invocation to Heck on something. Yeah, here we go, on these Bloody Reavers to heal them up. Also gets that little bit of map-wide healing as well. Silver Helms charge in. They're going to finish off those dogs. Meanwhile, in the foreground here, the Fireborn getting a nice charge into Lamprey's Revenge, who were unbraced. They do have expert charge defense, so if they're braced, they can completely resist that massive 80 charge bonus of the Fireborn. But unbraced, they'll still take less damage because of their armor, very heavy armor, but will take some damage, no doubt, when it's such a high charge bonus. It's pretty essential for getting through that high armor, to be honest. Let's see here, a little bit of a rear charge from those Lion Chariots and other Dwellers as well, trying to catch up those Bloody Reavers, but they're mostly able to escape, taking a little bit of damage from it, but yeah, now closing the distance there. Get Stand Your Ground from Tyrion, buffing up melee defense, Invocation of the Heck from Noctilus, juicing up HP, and somehow this one Mournful is still so healthy, just chasing these routing units. Can definitely come back and assist in the late games. Coast surprisingly ahead on the balance of power, and that's mainly just due to the fact that their power units are all still so healthy, including Count Noctilus himself. Lion Chariot, unfortunately, gets ground down by the Lamprey's Revenge. Not really meant for a melee combat like that. But Mournful's finally can be peeled back, or looks like they're getting targeted on, perhaps Silver Helms are getting targeted on them, I should say. Yeah, the Silver Helms and the Dragon Princes will be great against the Mournful's in open space if they can get good charges on them because of that low armor, as we saw earlier. Here, they're going to get a little bit more of a near charge with the support of the Lion Infantry. I like this. That armor-piercing damage from them can definitely help out, but it looks like, I don't know if they actually got the best support attack order. Yeah, it looks like they're kind of just filtering in a little bit strangely, and that does lead to the Fireborn getting crushed, but perhaps the Lions can still get in there. Still got plenty of spear support. Noctilus also gets himself into trouble against Tyrion, who is, despite being on horseback and subject to his anti-large, is still just a superior combatant overall. Better stats, better, weapon strength, even with the anti-large, I believe. I don't think it's 40, yeah. Even with the anti-large, better weapon strength, more HP, so Tyrion just showing his strength as a duelist here. Ooh. Nice double kill on those Lions, though, with the Chariot going down from Noctilus. He's got his priorities not on Tyrion at the moment. Zombie Summon does help him, though, kind of screen out a little bit here. It's critical that the High Elf players got these Bloody Reavers screened away from this engagement, though. If Bloody Reavers were assisting Count Noctilus against Tyrion, obviously Tyrion would be having a very bad time. Even still, I think the Coast player should probably just collapse with these units. Maybe try and jump the Lamprey's Revenge onto these two units so you can break them real quick, and then run the two of them over to support Noctilus. Very important that he fights with those Regiment of Renown elites supporting him so that it's not a fair fight, because if it is, he's going to get clobbered by Tyrion. And especially if he gets kind of stagger locked in an animation like that. Let's see, will he actually fight back now? Oof, takes a nasty hit there. Now it's starting to return some attack animations. Mournful's also closing in. Gonna maybe push Tyrion away, allow Noctilus to escape, try and heal up and return to fight. Let's see, the Regiments of Renown for Coast are breaking what's left of the High Elf support troops, so what just a few minutes ago was looking quite dire, all of a sudden flips around, even though the balance of power now suddenly is favoring the High Elves because of the damage that Noctilus has taken. And don't get me wrong, if Tyrion manages to finish Noctilus here, that's pretty much game over, but a nice heal on him. You can see the effect on the balance of power as that heals. It's just ticking consistently. Heroes tend to count for a lot on the balance of power, so definitely something to be aware of. But let's fast forward a little bit through this sort of beginning of the fourth quarter, if you will. As Tyrion gets fully surrounded, he's going to have to fight against Noctilus, but is he Chad enough to actually just kill everything? Nice Sunfang. Going to do some solid damage, and critically here, this Life Mage is still alive and pops an absolutely disgusting Dwellers Below that's just going to hit everything high value and dear. It's left for the Vampire Coast. It's definitely damage they cannot afford to be taking, especially like on these Bloody Reavers. Lamprey's Revenge, who are both getting pretty close to their healing cap. Meanwhile, Tyrion's melee defense has managed to hold his martial mastery, giving him just absolute immunity to damage practically. I did see as Faint Riposte also, which gives him additional physical resistance and melee defense, as well as melee attack, of course. But focusing more on the defensive abilities here, there's just no way that any of these Vampire Coast units, even the elites, are probably not that great of a hit chance, considering Tyrion, yeah, 96 melee defense with stand your ground active. I mean, even with, what, 52? I guess with 28, yeah, what is that, 80? Yeah, it's still pretty good, but still, you know, with Tyrion's buffs active, like, below minimum hit chance, above minimum hit chance even still, with his melee defense at just martial mastery base, but still, I mean, it's not that much above base hit chance, which is about 35% if I remember correctly. Tyrion showing off his superior stats in a late game grind like this. Got some supporting troops coming back in as well, but did take quite a bit of damage there. Does he have? Yes, he does. Heart of Averlorn proc. Let's look for that to potentially go off here and just put an absolute dagger in the balance of power. As long as he doesn't get terrified. Even if he does get terrified, though, he's likely to be able to come back from rout. The High Elf player here, Sal, has been very smart in keeping their life mage away from the fight, just in a safe position, recover their vigor, be able to support leadership if Tyrion does go down. Watch how it kind of cycles in that aura, right? You can see the aura if I kind of click on it, so that he makes sure that they maintain the encourage aura with that nice sweet leadership buff. But suddenly Noctilus goes down. With Noctilus done, Vampire Coasts immediately run into leadership issues, and that's pretty much going to be the end of them. Though it does take some time, respectively, and I don't know how. I honestly have no idea how that one Mourngul just doesn't get hit that entire time. Normally, Mournguls just die horribly, and it's not like it even necessarily paid for itself, which is kind of sad, to be honest. But, yeah, interesting build from Vampire Coast. I respect it, even if it didn't end up working well. I do think you need a little bit more meat on them bones, so to speak, and I might cut one Mourngul just to take some zombies to pad out some extra bodies here. From the High Elf side, again, unusual build, but Tyrion is absolutely great in this matchup. The fact that he's a mobile horse lord with just amazing combat stats, can outduel pretty much everything on the Vampire Coast roster in a clean 1v1. Definitely did a great job there, and surprisingly enough, the cavalry also did pretty decent considering the tools they were up against. Definitely had some elite halberds on the opposite side, and generally, I think between the cannons, the cheap halberds, the elite halberds, the Vampire Coast has a lot of anti-cavalry tools, so it can be tricky, but very good job using those guys effectively there. So hopefully you guys enjoyed watching that one. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button every time I upload a new video. Wow, those line troops for the High Elves too, quite a bit of value. So every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again. We will see you next time.